I've seen the comments. These funds are a scam. The dividends are just your own money being paid back to you. And my personal favorite, NAV erosion. Well, I'm a 28-year-old who actually invests in these high yield ETFs, and today I'm going to be breaking down the truth. Hi, I'm Rachel and welcome to Yield&Grace. I make investing simple and empowering. Today we'll be setting the record straight with high yield ETF myths debunked. As always, I am not a financial advisor. These are just my personal opinions, and always do your own research before investing. Being that I said NAV erosion was my favorite myth being talked about, let's dive into that one first. So the myth: these ETFs are going to erode until they're worthless. Reality: these ETFs would only go to zero if the underlying stock went to zero. So if MicroStrategy went to zero, of course Misty would go to zero. If Palantir went to zero, Platy would go to zero. In my personal opinion, I do not think MicroStrategy and Palantir are going anywhere anytime soon. The reason why I love these high yield ETFs so much is because I love these underlying stocks. I love MicroStrategy, I love Palantir. So being that these high yield ETFs pay out such large amounts, for me, I'm looking for passive income on stocks that I absolutely love. I am not looking for long-term growth. If you're looking for long-term growth, then these high-yield ETFs probably are not the best strategy for you. If you're looking for passive income, then they are perfect. These fund managers are constantly adding new covered call strategies to bring in fresh cash flow and keep the payouts steady. Also, what helps me combat NAV erosion is using DRIP, Dividend Reinvestment Plan. For YieldMax, I get paid on Fridays. So come Monday, when my dividends reinvest themselves, I'm buying the shares at a cheaper price. So my cost average is constantly being lowered, being that I have DRIP on all my high yield ETFs. I have been investing in these high yield ETFs for over a year now, and truly, I personally have not seen much NAV erosion. It could be because I have all my stocks on DRIP and constantly reinvesting at lower prices when the stock dips after the dividend is paid. However, that's not to say NAV erosion does not exist. It does exist, but in my personal experience for over a year now, I am so happy with the way that my high yield ETFs have been performing. Like I said, I love the underlying stocks, and I have been getting massive payouts, especially from Platy and Hui. For my goal of passive income, it is fantastic. I don't want to have to work. I like pressing a button of buy and getting paid for literally doing nothing. So for me, it works. It's like having a rental property without having all the headaches and the work that comes with it. I personally absolutely love these high yield ETFs for the passive income game of it all. Like I said, these are not growth stocks. So if you're going into it wanting it to be a growth stock, then you're going into it for the wrong reasons. If you're going into it for passive income, to get massive payouts, to pay for your lifestyle and be able to have financial freedom, then I think these are amazing. Myth number 2. The only reason you're getting these dividends is because the ETF is giving you your own money back. No. These funds, like YieldMax, generate new income through covered call options. That's how they're able to pay out such high distributions. So it's not just your own money being recycled. It's cash flow created from the strategy. So if you understand how covered calls work, then you would understand how these funds are generating income. Myth number 3, you'll always get the same massive payout every month. The reality of that is the dividends change month to month depending on the income from the options. Some months are high and some months are low. But then again, in investing, nothing is ever guaranteed. So with that being said, my personal goal is steady, consistent cash flow. Even if some months the dividends are lower, I'm still getting paid. That to me is priceless. The next myth is again one of my favorites. These are just traps for beginners who don't know better. Can you tell that some of these have been told directly to me and I've taken them a little personally? These ETFs are like my children. I love each and every single one of them so much. and each one has their own strength and their own weaknesses, and that's what I love so much about each one. The reality is these are not for everyone, but they are tools. Again, if you want long-term growth, stick to broad ETFs like the S&P 500. If you want cash flow now, ETFs from YieldMax can be very useful. Smart investors match the tool to the goal. So no, high yield ETFs are not scams. They are not perfect. They definitely have their imperfections, and I'm not one to deny that. However, they are not designed to implode either. They're income-focused funds that use covered calls to pay investors. DRIP helps fight NAV erosion. The managers keep rolling out new options, and the only way they hit zero is if the underlying stock itself does. The haters will always hate, this I know for sure, but if you actually understand how these funds work, you'll see they're just another tool in the toolbox. And hey, if a 28-year-old girl can figure this out, then so can you. I hope this video brought some clarity and insight on your investing journey. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.